Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we have the definition of my team sucks, we're down 5,000 gold, how do I solo carry this damn game? Because that's what EKKO can do, that's what you guys can do, and that's what this game is going to show you how to do. Now we are against a Lee Sin, obviously, because, I mean, how many high elo games don't have Lee Sin at this point? And fortunately for us, and fortunately for most of you EKKO enthusiasts, you're probably very happy to note that he's not using Predator and he's not using First Strike. Back to the Dark Harvest rune set. Probably slap those runes on your screen now a little earlier than I normally would, just to make sure that you understand the context of this game. You'll see in the timeline, it's definitely back heavy, and the difficulty for a jungler in a situation where your laners simply are not performing is that you struggle to maintain relevancy. You struggle to maintain parity to the enemy jungler, you struggle to get objectives, you just struggle. And it's sad and unfortunate, and I'm sorry for you. And most of you, you know, what you really need to be focusing on is how do I snowball a game and then just win it? Because, I mean, if you're planning to play from behind, you're playing the game incorrectly. However, sometimes things do happen. So, little late invade. Now, obviously, we've had a lot of standard clears on this channel, and recently we've had a lot of these little invades, and I kind of like that, because what happens when something ceases to be an aberration and becomes more of a trend? Well, that's a meta shift, my friends. And I'm not necessarily going to state that, haha, look at these invades, it's a meta shift. But it's showing you that these little takeaways and so on can really impact games. And they can help you throw a bit of cheese factor and randomness to an otherwise monotonous and irritating jungle clear, which most people do. Now, you see this situation. Why is this important? Why am I pointing this out to you? Well, for the sake of clarity. If a jungle full clears and ganks, which is what most people can do and is standard to do, you can counteract them by doing a, buff Raptors Grump invade. You can simply do a buff Grump invade, or you can gank first, not invade, and then control the rivers, forcing them to recycle their cams. What happens if junglers are now going into buff Raptors Grump and buff Grump invades and ganks very heavily in your elos? Ah, little cheeky late invade, and now you've ruined that particular gameplay. Now, fortunately for us, fortunately for Lee Sin, rather, he wasn't really looking for blue. Could he have been looking for blue? Yes. However, because he did Raptors after red into the Grump, if nothing was available, like the Jace used as ward, there's no real way to gank it, EKKO's now sequencing down, so there's really nothing for him, you would fall back to your blue into your wolves, and then you could reverse collapse into this. Now, Lee Sin's used excellent pathing to remove himself, yes, from vision to make this gank possible. Now, for those of you who are wondering, the Grandmaster amongst the masters, apparently, of this Gragas. So, see this? This is great pathing. I absolutely love it when junglers do this. I love it when Rek'Sais do this. When any jungler, like a Nidalee, this is absolutely fantastic. You know the gap in the pathing, and you know exactly how to make lane impact, even though the lane are warded. So, when you're trying to state, well, haha, Jace is pushing and it's warded, I can't gank it, here you go. EKKO, in the meantime, did his late invade, warded over the wall, went back to his red Raptors Wolves, sees the Lee Sin gank top lane, sees bottom lane pushing, knows that they're not quite 3 yet, but will be very, very close, so wants to make that gank first, and he does so appropriately. And when you have a Nautilus lane, it's always free, my friend. It's always free, because that hitbox is as wide as the entire lane. People like to meme the Morgana hitbox, but we really should be memeing, well, Morgana, Nautilus, Thresh, Pike, Blitzcrank, they're all in the same criminal underbelly. Now, Lee Sin knows that this is going to happen, so says, well, you stole my blue, I take your Krugs. Although I don't really always necessarily think that's a fair trade, because, as I almost lost my voice there, that, even if you take the whole camp, it's going to take you so damn long to do it, that the EKKO will now have time, if he sees you, because you don't pay attention to the mini-wave, after this gank, to crab, if he hasn't taken it yet, into stealing your tier 2 Raptors. And that's huge, Now, that only would happen if you say stay top lane and repeat gank, which is what we see a lot. Lee Sin ganks, takes this, ganks again, pushes, and now it's 420, and EKKO can do that. But that's not happening in this case. The Jace cut him off. Karma can roam because she has that tempo control, and Lee Sin can reset it for bottom lane as well. EKKO can reward himself with that great gank and fall back into his jungle. The mind games in this game, very nice. I enjoy. I have not seen the replay, so I'm obviously assessing it as we go through it. That's why I like this channel. It's a little bit different in that sense. So, because Karma did that, and because EKKO floated in the bottom lane, this is absolutely excellent jungling and excellent supporting. The flash there is a little bit unfortunate, but we'll take it. That's absolutely fine. Lee Sin again chose top lane, so he didn't even decide to flex into the bottom side, and at this point, you would assume as EKKO that it's highly likely if he was bottom side, you'd see him. So even though we think, and as I said, maybe Lee Sin should show bottom lane here for second Raptors to counter gank this, he decided no, he's going all in on ganking that top lane, right? He wants to make sure he can impact that lane. And EKKO, in the meantime, is now diving bottom lane, killing the Karma once more. We have a TP from the Gragas, who does a huge Omega Belly Slam. Jace also TPs in, but, well, Talon, ladies and gentlemen. Talon. So, enjoy this, top laners. Enjoy this. And you know why you need to enjoy that? Okay, LeBlanc at least roamed a little bit. Oh, okay, he levels up. He levels up and gets a cheeky regeneration from alcohol that the rest of humanity doesn't have. Okay, he's going to the clone. Okay, he's able to chase that. All right, there you go. So, Lee Sin held mid lane in the meantime, and now sequence is down, so that's fine. He wasn't involved in the action. I do think in this situation, it would have been good and prudent for him to maybe be on the bottom side, but he chose to go top side, and as such, he wasn't involved. When this happens to you, and as I said, enjoy top lane, is because that TP change is coming through where the cooldown is significantly higher pre 14 minutes, and you can only use it on towers. EKKO, in the meantime, this is why you cover lanes. This is why you get yourself head and you cover lanes. Because, woo, very nice. Well, that was hopefully I didn't get too many feedbacks on the microphone there, but, you know, this is why we hold towers, because if you can kill the mid laner solo, then that's absolutely great. In the meantime, Lee Sin is obviously now shadowing bot side after being top side for so long, taking those Raptors, looking at his Krugs. If bot lane pushes, he will collapse and kill. So that's really bad by the red team's bottom lane, but EKKO did a good job as well. Sees Lee Sin bottom lane, knows the RNG crab is there. Definitely think we should go for that Gromp because we get 6, but we can't shadow for a minion kill here. You see? The hesitation and the delays, you know, it's a bit of an issue. But the Jace positioned himself very, very poorly. We'll be 6 now from that. And Gragas doesn't have 6 himself, but the wave will be way too thin to really do much. It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. So these bottom lane TPs are going away, and I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You guys know I play a lot of bot lane as well. It's just not fun when you get 4v2 TP'd on all the time with very little punishment and making Ignite so useless. Now, do I think they needed to kind of force it? I think maybe there's better changes for that. But at the very least, I think it's an interesting experiment, and we can see how it'll impact the greater meta in terms of mid lane as well as top lane. Excellent roam, TP gank. Nautilus responds in kind. He's actually able to get the hook and some tower aggro onto the mid lane, who also dies. So from a LeBlanc perspective, this is fine. EKKO's now absolutely like, oh my goodness. Reacting, playing around everything as much as he can. But when, you know, they're not really doing much, and if they're going to disrespect it, you're going to have a rough go of it, definitely. Using the W there for vision probing, very, very good. We're going to take this. We're going to take this. We're staring at the bottom lane here. Nautilus is coming out of base, so we can sync up with him nicely. We can sync up with him very nicely here. Yeah, you know, this is the trick here. Where is the support going to go in or not? Because you want to use your E. There you go. Beautifully done. And this is what I'm talking about quite a lot in coaching sessions. And there's a main channel video where I broke down one. So if you guys are interested in coaching but don't want to, or unable to sort of get one or subscribe to Patreon for all the full VODs, I decided to break a really great one down for everyone to see for free. Because I just, obviously, I want to give as much free as I possibly can while still earning money to live, obviously. And that talks a lot about this kind of stuff, but really syncing up with your ganking is so big. And look at the Jhin. Jin's like, I need to get to the tower, I need to defend the CS. And the EKKO's just chilling in the bush, and good respect on the Jhin. Most of your ADCs will just walk up and die. That's what they're good at. And then I would say something like, well, shut up ADCs, your job is to hit towers and hit monsters. And because I like Kai'Sa, and I like Kai'Sa jungle, I figured, let me try a bit of ADC. It's my worst role by far. And you know what? I had like 5-5-7 and got MVP because I just hit all the towers and the dragons and gold. So I took my own advice, but hell was it boring. This is way more exciting. Now, again, you got to look here in these situations to push and deny as much as possible so that your ADC can reset, but you can't always handhold them. And, you know, for you, like, okay, the play's over, I'm going to go back to do my blue, and ADC stays and dies. Nothing you can do. But you can do blue. You see Lee Sin top side there. We can float on down. Hello, Yin. Don't overcommit because he will have his 4th shot, and it's a karma. So don't bite off more than you can chew. LeBlanc shows up as well, but gets trapped. Forced to ult there. Basically, nothing happens whatsoever. So that's a waste of our ult. This is messy. I don't like it. We don't now have ult at all. Now we have to push it, which forces our affiliates to go mid lane. Yeah, see, these things affect bottom lane in a very negative way. You gotta really focus on that. If you're playing a if you're playing a Warwick or a Vi or something like that after this play, and you see the Lee Sin top lane again, investing in all these kills that he's getting, you can't just snag the dragon. I think it's a very good idea to snag the dragon, because obviously he took the Herald as well. We're not focused too much on his kills at this point. But he's definitely getting some cleanup, isn't he? He's not really dominating the map in that sense, because his team's doing a solid job as well. Like the Gragas and the mid lane are doing a great job. So now he's just going to rotate up here. I mean, he could very easily just do dragon, knowing that EKKO will not be able to contest it whatsoever. But I'd be very cautious about this. There you go, straight to the mid lane. He does the wall hop, Gragas shows up, he gets stunned, doesn't matter. Good night. Oh, Philios gets knocked against the wall. Okay, never mind. 200 years gives him 200 years of spacing, apparently. No, it's not very well played. This is Master, not Challenger. I know you guys are used to peak 3000 OP Super Server mechanics. Now he's tilted, and he's going to basically try and take your camps. Understandably so. Did he screw up? Yes. Did he get screwed? Yes. When you combine them, it equals an irrational fool who will take your jungle camps. So be cautious about that, especially in the diamond elos and below. So every elo. Dragon secured. Nothing much we can do. We can trap a little bit the Lee Sin there. If we can kill him for the shutdowns, we shall do so. Nice thing about that is that the Herald won't be used bottom lane. This is absolutely fantastic. Trundle. Talon is trying to parkour Giga, and it's so annoying. The EKKO's just staying in front of him, absolutely trying to... There we go. Absolutely trying to get in front of him to use his E. Eventually, we're able to kill him. That's nice. That's good. And again, do you notice the hyperactivity of this game? The EKKO is 3-1-3, and it feels like he's so much more than that. He's just trying to keep up with the high pace of the game, and the fact that his top laner is really struggling, his mid laner is trying but just isn't having the impact that you really want, and bottom lane is suffering greatly at the hands of their own inadequacy. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be making these snap decisions all the time. Okay, C and Obi. Can you do more, Mr. Obi? Mr. Obi. That was nice. You see, I love that about EKKO. Okay, well, a lot of flex in this case. I love that about EKKO, and I covered this in an EKKO guide, like right at the beginning of my channel. Was it the montage I was going to make that didn't end up making? I can't remember. Where you can E to different things. In 2017, people were doing it, obviously, but now it's so clean when you have nice actives like Rocket Belt that we didn't really always have prior to Proto Belt, prior to Rocket Belt. Where you just E to a minion and use the gap closer, or you flash right afterwards. It's really fun. That was really well played. There's small things. But would a silver EKKO have done that? Would a gold EKKO have done that? Maybe, but unlikely. So it's the things that people do, the small things that people do, with the flow of doing everything else that's advanced, that makes it so impressive, or just fun to watch. See, that's not impressive. That's just pain, and I'm sorry you have to see it. Teams, whenever we're on the top side, and this includes the Yankos Rek'Sai versus Yone that we had, junglers get a little too aggressive and forget that they can't always take those fights. Anyway, so Lee Sin is currently farming. I'm not too focused on him at the moment, obviously. LeBlanc's able to kill the Karma. I would slow it down to show you how she killed him, but we all know it's LeBlanc, so just buttons. And she died. Oh, they both died, actually. Lee Sin goes in, and he is fed, so you gotta be a little bit cautious there. Talon gets the kill in the end. We're gonna flash for that slow and kill. EKKO comes out of base. Every death has an impact. Nautilus hooks nothing but the air. Jace uses the plank, goes into the river. He is down 2 levels. What are you doing, my guy? You're just gonna get cut off. You guys are gonna get cut off. You're gonna get cut off and trapped. Okay, thank you. Hold the mid wave. That's absolutely fine. Yes. Como ça va? Because I don't think you're that good, man. It's always good to wake up before you play, guys. Have some coffee, do some VOD reviews if you're on holiday. Have some good fiber, high protein intake. You know, maybe hit the gym a little bit. Wake up. You know, this Jay's just rolled out of bed and still got wax in his eyes. Sleepy dust, rather. I hope you don't have wax in your eyes. That'd be, oh my goodness, I'm just freaking out thinking about it. And now he's straight inting. But I mean, look how fed the Gragas is. It's so irritating for things like EKKO, but well placed with the ultimate there. Gotta start to think a little bit ahead of the fat man. Oh, is that insensitive? Really large, round man, rotund man, and kill him. So that's good. Again, we're just trying to put out the forest fire. That we're just trying to, you know, it doesn't. The forest is still on fire, but less of it's on fire. And honestly, if you can stop it expanding, I see that as an absolute win, and I think everyone does as well. And that's essentially what you're doing until the rest of the fire brigade shows up. In this case, your items, because your team aren't going to show up. Just got to stay within touching distance. Now, from that, we take this. We see Talon going mid lane, and he dies to 200 years. Would you like to see that again? Okay, your wish is my command. It's always fun to watch that. Here we go. There we go. I kill you now. I am the assassin. 200 years says, but I have shield bow, and I am better design. End of story. The Lee Sin has shown up. EKKO is going to try and counter gank, but the W takes time to channel. Lee Sin knows what he wants to go for. Did get the second Herald in the meantime. Well, he kills him anyway. Okay. We got the flash. We got the flash. That's good. Dragon spawning. LeBlanc has a little pry on the bottom side now. We have a ward. We've got a little bit of decompression going on here. So good positioning. Well played. Right? Let's fall to the red here, although I'm not a fan of this if you have so much gold. In this situation, you're willingly giving up the dragon, but you got to be super cautious about being out now. You're down 2k, but you're the Fed member. And yes, you're EKKO, so you can still dish out the damage and do what you just did. But if you have that much gold in pocket and a dragon up that you want to fight over, obviously in this case I don't think they could have, but if you want to be strong as possible. We have the Lich Bane now, so the E is really going to hurt. We do have 1265. He's going to go for the Needless. I was going to say you got to go Needless here. Could go into the Magi's. But the 7 stacks doesn't really make it feel that great. And honestly, at this point, when you're behind, what's the most important thing for you? Reliability. So we'll take that 60 AP on everything we do over possibly going Magi's and then, you know, dying and just losing that gold investment. So in this case, we've got our riskier play, but we have our secure item as well. So if we get, you know, up to a couple stacks in a good team fight, then we can upgrade that to Magi's. Now, the thing about the recalling here is if we don't go to the red and reset and we go for the Baron, the Dragon secure, excuse me, then you're probably there where your team dies mid lane. And that's the whole thing about being present for your team. I mean, EKKO goes back to base after making that catch. Oh man, this is just silly. All of this is just silly. EKKO gets his kill, goes back to base. The whole team had already reset. They don't really want to go back to base, so they overstay trying to get mid lane and die. Now blue team pushes up mid lane, doesn't track respawn timers again, hasn't gold reset and die. This is what I'm talking about in that macro video on the main channel a few weeks ago. You guys complain about bounties, you guys complain about macro, everyone complains about yada yada yada. This is just done. This is a master tier career game. Maybe that's why they close games with 15, because they don't know what to do anymore. The game's gone on too long. We're in the late game in Korea. Yeah. Overstaying. But I'm kind of brushing by the issue. There's a lot of little nuance here we could discuss. We could spend 30 minutes on all of this in a coaching session, but for now, just please pay attention to back timers relative to your team. Watch respawn timers relative to your push. Just shoving a wave and taking all their cams, if the respawn times are still short, is always a better way to play it. Especially in the case of the leading team. Right. Krugs are available. We secure for the nation of Zon. And now we are looking for the trap pick. Woo, beautifully done. This is why ADCs, and I can't confirm this after playing it a bit this week, hate the role because... well played, though. That's exactly what you're looking for. That's, you know... In the video I just put on the main channel, again syncing up beautifully, the Viego just didn't pull the trigger on a person he could have killed very, very easily. And I said, if you just pull that trigger, you now have numbers advantage. And now you can use that even in lower elo games. The EKKO, the same thing. Sees them moving up, knows they're out of position, uses his W for vision, fully commits with his rocket belt once he sees it, kills him. Now you have numbers advantage. Now you can push with security and peace of mind. And it buys you time. And that's how you buy time in these negative games. That's how you solo carry. That, at the end of the day, it's how you solo carry. Catch the side wave. Although I'm not always a fan of being bottom lane when there's a Baron up. I'll be honest with you. I understand why we want to catch bottom wave, blue side, and get ourselves juiced. But I think we have to be very cautious about the fact that the enemy team is going to be looking to group, push, and get a Baron at some point. LeBlanc is able to distort and avoid that Lee Sin Q, but Karma. Jhin ulting over the wall. So this has the feeling of that Volibear video we did, if you guys remember that one. You have to recognize that your team is useless, and you need to infuse yourself. And sometimes it requires being a little bit selfish by taking this wave, by taking this blue side, by sequencing up. Although I do think sometimes you just have to be there for your team. You have to understand that you're the fed one. However, he has sequenced up, he's waiting for the Nautilus. Blue team apparently don't want to win the game, so they go in without even thinking once more. EKKO can sustain. If you like this sort of EKKO playstyle, the Nash's tooth is absolutely huge. You know, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack. Great for splitting as well. We are able actually to get that. I mean, he stops the Baron, that's for sure, but you're going to lose that third dragon. You see what I'm saying? You can see the difference here when we look at challenger players and the snap decision making about resetting and being there for objectives and not giving away too much is so different to even like a master player. I mean, you're looking at 1500 RP less, you know, a lot of the time, 1000 RP less. And at this point, they're able to actually position themselves for the dragon, but why? This is what I'm talking about. You know, they're able to get to it, but Lee Sin is alive, he's in the pit and he has Q execute and he hits it and he steals it. Now, can EKKO very easily secure dragons? Yes. Okay? But if you don't have smite or you use a smite on the red, you're not going to be in a position to secure it. It's just bad decision making. It impacts you. You want to make sure you have smite for dragons. Losing the red buff to a Lee Sin smite while you have it up for Drake is huge. So that's unfortunate, but we were at least in a position to get it. Talon kills Aphelios. Then parkours away, but dies anyway. That's absolutely fine with me. This is a bit messy here, but Lee Sin's dead, Talon's dead. Blue team does have to be a little bit cautious on the turn. Looks like we have a 2 for 2, which, you know what, if you're behind, I see is an absolute win. Jin's going to push with Karma. EKKO's going to hold what's our cash money intake. 3,000 again. Walks back to base because you don't want to be cancelled, and if they do overcommit, you can kill. Right. Let's go. Death cap complete. Now we're talking with the damage. Now we're talking. Okay. Out of base, we're staring at the minimap, we're looking, we see Lee Sin, we see Talon. We know we are doing the wolves, we have to be very cautious. Aphelios is way too far up in the lane. Pretty much everything about that, forget you ever saw. Talon's gonna try kill. Jhin is able to kill the LeBlanc. Yeah. This is probably very reminiscent of your games, is it not? That's a Baron. Okay. So I was waiting and wondering for when something ridiculous would happen that allowed blue team to really try and push this. And it was, as usual, bad positioning, getting caught out, and now EKKO pressing our EKKO pressing R for no reason. Now, if this does happen, and you cannot contest the Baron, excuse me, push, secure as much as you can. Sorry, I don't mean to pause that. Take waves, take camps, take everything, control vision. See what he's doing? Took his Grom, going into the jungle, take the red buff. Look at this trap here. He saw someone coming through there, and he actually forces a flash out from the Jhin. Beautifully done. That is exquisite tracking and timing. Well played. See? Hex tech. People always think of it, well, I don't like the cheese. Don't like the fact that you can eat around the map. Big brain junglers think, well, thanks for bringing the food to me. Uber Eats. For junglers. That's what Hex tech is. And now look at this, because you're so Giga Turbo fed, even though they got a Baron, we make the pick, they lose their numbers advantage, which hampers their ability to push with a Baron. And as I said, that's all a byproduct of making sure if you can't secure that dragon, Baron, you just get as much as you can on the map. From there, they want to reset, we're at 1800. Probably, you know, if you're against a tankier composition, that Void Staff is going to be absolutely nuts for you. I love this play. I love doing this so much. It's so often that laners with Baron, and after you've made a pick, will try and push these waves up. Now, forget the results-based thinking here. But if they overcommit and make that mistake like the Gragas did, and the rest of the team doesn't join them, which happens quite frequently, this is a nice fight. You can easily get a 1 or 2 pick collapse. In higher elo, as you're seeing, their whole team kind of recognizes and join up because the Jhin was dead. Okay, that's a little two-hand there, LeBlanc. You're just trying to destroy them so that they can't Baron push. We're not looking to win the game off of this, you know? Numbers advantage is great. So yeah, if you can sort of take the pick out here and then they're over-pushing with Baron, you can collapse and get a free kill. In lower elo games, you'll have 1 or 2 by themselves. The rest of the team's like farming or doing something else. Higher elo, they look to join in. Got to play this fight well, as the EKKO did. Now Soul is available. We do want to get it. We are level 16. 2,500 again, a lot of gold. Goblin Hoarder up in here. Okay, avoids the stun, or not that it was going to hit anyway. W is beautifully done using the Proto Belt. We got a huge shield. We do have ult available. We do have the TP committed from the Yace. Very nice. Karma's the last one with Baron, or was the last one with Baron. And now she hath fallen. Again, when you're behind, you make that one pick, make another pick, force fights that are good for your team in terms of numbers advantages. Because you're the third one, if you play it well, it works out nicely. And because of that, they get a little anxious, right? Watching that the Gragas killed the Jace and the Talon killed the Aphelios. The blue team gets a little anxious about it. Because they kind of want to use their lead, but they can't use it to its fullest. And that's when you get those cleanup kills, shutdowns, and resulting objectives. Talon yeets it away, but that's actually good zoning with the Gragas, man. Thimble Winter. I'm starting to shake. I'm getting hives and some stress. My blood pressure's going up. Watching all that CC. Oh, man. It was painful. Like, will you just die? You cannot. Catch this wave as well. I like that. If you need to take the Grump, do so, but be a little cautious about who's overstaying. Reset, finally with 4,500. And now we should be able to buy Void Stuff as well as slap into that Mesh Eyes, which is absolutely fine. Might have been able to get it earlier. I think instead of that Amp Tome, if you had enough to get Mesh Eyes, you do it. You finish Death Cap, you get Mesh Eyes. But in this situation, having enough to get Void and Mesh Eyes in one buy is fine. Because you're huge, you know? And now you just get infinitely scaling. You're just infinitely scaling. And finally, we are looking for the fight because we have offset from those objective bounties and the dragon. The gold lead, out of position is the Lee Sin, and we protobot the wrong way, but it doesn't matter because he will fall. Level 18 now hugely because we kept confusing ourselves. Gragas is now out of position and finally is able to die. Again, the blue team mispositioned. The red team punish it. EKKO, first and foremost on the front lines, using that dive ability to kill someone because he can kill anyone. Talon is trying his best, but we have a wave with us. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. That's how you 1v9. You know? And now it looks like we're going to heavily inflate our kills for educated. I was going to say EDU value, but I meant for our own entertainment. There we go. Been a long game to watch. Take all those shit before you go back to base. Talon is trying to kill the Nautilus. He's going to overchase forward. He's going to hook into your W. Doesn't matter. We don't need it. We kill. Make sure you don't overstay and die here because they will be able to end the game. Sorry, not end the game. Not end the game, but get the Baron. Penta? Penta. Don't think so. Unfortunate. It would have been nice to have a Penta not only on the intro of the main channel, at least it's just running, catching the wave, dragging it. This is actually fine. The ultimate result here should 100% be a Baron. In this case, no one else needs to chase other than you because you can easily get it yourself. Pentakill, we did get it. I wasn't sure if the timer would work, but it did. Hey, that ult, see this? From this push, take all this stuff, reset. If someone's getting caught up, but you're so far ahead and you use nothing else to buy at all except for an elixir, rotate here, use it, you hop the wall, he ulted back with huge amounts of damage as an EKKO, and because you've already killed one, you've killed another, it's just scattered, and that's exactly what EKKO likes. It's very well played. They take the El Baron, Lord Nashor. Now they move into the blue side. Take that because you need it, because we're staying out in the field. Again, Hextech Gates and the Talons show up. Woof, the LeBlanc is very lucky to survive. Don't overcommit here. We do have Soul on the map. I don't, Hextech Soul's kind of, in my opinion, is kind of strong. I don't really want to give it to them. So let's make sure we reset. In this case, you buy an elixir of sorcery. Pots, as it was known back in the day. And now you just look for the fight. You've evened it up, but this is just a one-man carrier machine. The Nautilus has done a solid job. His KDA doesn't reflect the setup he did for What are you doing, Lee Sin? What? Why are you face-checking that? He's just given up, hasn't he? If they're gonna miss position like this in Master and make these macro mistakes, you see what I'm saying? For the 99% of you? If they miss position this much in Hyelo, and we have seen some funny challenging games too on this channel, when people just playing for fun, they just face check things, they get tilted. It happens in these mistakes happen in every elo. The difference here is the mechanics of the players, but also, I think you guys can very easily take control of these kinds of games. There you have it, how to approach the early game and the mid game when you're having not the best laners, how to make sure you scale into a 1v9 machine, a few tips and tricks here about positioning, but in the end, it works out well. EKKO gives us a pentakill, 22 kills, and 25 stacks. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're able to enjoy and learn something. Please do leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and all that stuff if you did. New video on the main channel, please have a look at that. Patreon is linked below as well. And as always, I will see you all in the next tutorial.